number all over central Indiana.
It already is.
All right. Well, guys, it is, and gals, it is 8:30, and we'll have a few more people jump on and join us. I'm confident. And I know it's a busy time, right? Going into the second round of sectionals, and we're all switching gears, trying to get ourselves up and running for our winter sports and what have you. And so again, everybody's busy. I appreciate everyone taking the time to jump on this morning. We do have some special guests, but I'm going to start with our Vice President, Mr. Roman Smith. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you, Leanne?
You know what? We're living the dream down south on Kentucky time. It's going to hit 80 degrees today, and the trees are pretty. So
Nice.
We are good.
We actually had
but I
weather
asked
like
Roman-
that in northern Indiana. So believe it or not, we had weather like that yesterday in northern Indiana. Believe it or not.
We've had it for about a week, and then come Sunday when it's 32, we're going to be crying down here. But we'll suck it up. We'll make it. I asked Roman this morning if he wanted to share some words of wisdom, give a welcome. So I'm going to be quiet and let you take it, Roman.
Yeah, thank you, Leanne. Hey guys, first and foremost, thank you guys for what you do. I think everybody says this all the time, and the job that we work in is very thankless. The things that we go through on a day-to-day basis, the challenges, the oppositions, everything that we go through, truthfully, nobody can understand our job better than the people that are on this Zoom call and that work in this every single day with kids and coaches and communities. So thank you for what you do. As Leanne said, with a lot of our fall seasons wrapping up, congratulations. You made it through another fall. For those of you that are still going through some of these postseason runs, best of luck to you. For those that are still alive, I know we're fortunate enough to have a volleyball team and football team still alive. So it's been a fun time here at Northwood. But for all of you that still have teams in it, good luck. Enjoy it. Enjoy every moment. Try to take in those moments with your coaches and your kids through those postseason runs as well. And then lastly, I just want to thank Leanne for her work with these professional development opportunities. This is what sets this organization apart when it comes to professional development. I am the athletic director that I am today because of these opportunities, because of the relationships that I have with all of you and the things that I've learned from this organization. So I just want to say thanks to her. And then I just want to touch base a little bit on the agenda item. I think we have a pretty fun agenda today. I'm excited for Brandon to speak from EventLink. I know we've worked with him at Northwood, as many of you have as well. Does an outstanding job. This platform has made our lives a lot more efficient. So I'm excited to see his top 3 wow factors. And then excited to kind of work with Leanne to see what she has to say about transitioning to the winter season. It's a very short transition for a lot of us, but I think she's coming with a checklist that she uses that will be beneficial to all of us. And then, hearing from our president and Rob of, final thoughts, and possibly again back to Leanne with what's possibly a good read. So I don't know if there's any readers in the chat, but I'm trying to pick that up a little bit here and there. So I appreciate everybody being here, taking advantage of these opportunities. Excited to learn. So with that, I'm going to kick it to either Leanne or Brandon.
Well, I'm going to take it for just a second before I give it to Brandon, because clearly I put the EventLink logo in the background, but that was just kind of the suck up, Brandon. And I know most of the state now has transitioned to EventLink, which is amazing. And I reach out to Brandon. I talk to John. I talk to Barbara. I talk to Mandy. Like anybody at EventLink is very, very accessible. But for this one, I decided to go straight to the top and ask Brandon to come on. And as Roman alluded to, what are your top 3 wows, Brandon? What are you guys working on? And then I did want to open it up because I know last time, unofficially before we started, we were talking about the EventLink website. And then there were some questions about EventLink ticketing for state events, especially for football, Brandon, just so you know. So I'm going to turn it over to you, sir. Thank you for being with us this morning, and take over.
Great. Thanks a lot, Leanne. Thank you. I appreciate it. Roman, thanks for the nice words. And Rob, thanks for the leading the chat here this morning. Leanne, I have a slide or two to display. Is there any way you can maybe make me a co-host, or can I go ahead and share that, or is that okay? Or I'm okay to
go
talk.
For it.
Y'all know me enough. I can talk without a problem through it. But
you are way more technologically advanced than me. Grab it and go if you're able to do so.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to.
I was able to make him co-host.
All right,
okay, thank you.
Share. All right, so you guys should see the EventLink screen now. Okay, great. Leanne, awesome background. That's you can have that at any meeting whenever. You can do it whenever. But first off, real quick, just a quick introduction for those of you who don't know me. I'm Brandon Smith, the director of EventLink. We have EventLink is an Indiana-based company. We're out of Lafayette, so hearing Roman talk about the weather up north. I'm actually going to try to sneak out and get in one last round of golf tomorrow afternoon, which is crazy to think that it's October 25th or 26th and trying to get around to golf in. So pretty excited about that. But we're a local business to Indiana. We're branching out of Indiana. We have hundreds of customers in Kentucky and Michigan and now in Illinois. But based out of Lafayette. So anytime you have any question or think, we know what you're going through, we're with you guys and probably attending events that you guys are putting on. So we appreciate it. I know the first thing that I want to talk about today was just kind of a little IHSA ticketing update. We can ask you guys, I'm going to go through some slides at the end. Any questions you have, you can stop me and we can talk about it at any time. Or we can wait till the end and just any questions about ticketing. I know there's a lot of confusion about some things and just it's a change for you guys. It's a little different way of doing things with the ultimate goal of trying to ease the burden on the schools. That's ours and the IHSA's goal, to make things easier for you guys through the IHSA tournament. And I know this transition at the beginning of the fall, sometimes it's confusing who's doing what's happening where. But all in all, so far, so good. The number one thing from EventLink that I can say is please just read our emails that we send. We're trying to keep everyone updated. We're trying to make sure that everything's going to run smoothly for you when it comes game time. So make sure that you're reading those emails and interact with them. Feel free to ask us questions. I think one thing that anyone on this Zoom that well, actually all of you use EventLink. So anyone that uses this for any part of EventLink knows the one thing you would say is that when you pick up the phone and call us, someone's going to answer. Like, we're always here. We're always available. Additionally, our success team, Barb, Mandy, our new folks, we've got Rebecca and Maggie and Sarah. They're going to be in touch with you before you host a tournament event. Regardless, they're going to reach out. They're going to call you. They're going to send an email. They're going to be checking over the tickets to make sure everything's going smoothly. They are on this. They've been assigned to certain sports. So you're going to have people that are going to be reaching out to you. So, take their call, talk to them. They'll be happy to make sure everything's set up. The only thing we don't ask is don't wait till a half an hour before the gates open to give us a ring. Let's work on it earlier to make sure that everything's going to go smooth and exactly the process for your event. Stats, y'all know me, I'm a numbers guy. I love them. So over 130,000 tickets sold so far, just through the first couple of weeks of the state tournaments. There's been 751 ticketed state tournament events. And the key one that I look at is our support rate. So we've received 0.1% calls based on those over 130,000 tickets. So if you do the math there, that's like 130 emails that we've got from all of these tickets that were sold. That's pretty darn good. And I would put that support rate up with any company in the country over anything. So it's pretty solid. Comps. Okay, so this is the most confusing part. We've got the most questions about comps. We had to make some changes to the way comps worked a little bit in order to have our system speak with the IIAAA system. So we've kind of heard you. We know it's a pain in the butt right now. Claiming one comp at a time and then sharing one comp at a time, it is a pain in the butt. And we've got some ideas and things that we're working on. Unfortunately, they're not going to be ready for football season, but we will have some updates for and easier ways to share those comp tickets for the winter tournaments. And we're working on it. We understand it's a pain in the butt, but it was kind of a little bit of a curveball in how things were going to be set up, and we understand it. So be patient with us on the comps. I know some of the tournaments, I think some of the messaging from the IHSA did mention something about maybe even going to a sign-in sheet if that's easier. It just kind of whatever works for you guys. If you want to share the comps like we have set up, by all means, give us a ring and we'll help you figure that out. But really the best way to do it is to claim one comp ticket at a time and then forward that email off to whoever you're sharing it with. That's the easiest way to do it, even though it does take a little bit of time.
Hey, Brandon, can I interrupt you on that one real quick? One of the things that the comp tickets I started doing before the postseason is I would send all 25 to myself, which then gives me 25 individual PDFs. And then I basically take screenshots of that and send that forward to whoever I need to do. That's kind of how I've handled it, as opposed, and that seems to be less work than doing one at a time and having to gather all these things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And that's a good way to do it too. I know some some folks aren't comfortable working within individual PDFs and breaking those off, but the screenshot's an idea. I didn't really think about that. That is a way to do it. Ultimately, as the company providing it, that's a terrible solution on my end. But I mean, it works just because I want it to be easier for you, and you shouldn't have to do that. But Rob, that could be a good way. Just take a screenshot of each individual ticket and then send that to who you need to send it to.
Hey, Brandon, that only works if they're scanning at the gate. Like, are there a lot of schools doing that? Because when we hosted, we only self-validated.
Yeah, it's different, Emily. It's different for the it's during the regular season. About 80% of our schools do scan. They scan. We've seen that a little different with the state tournament, just because of kind of doing it at the last minute. And there's been a kind of a move towards self-validate, so you don't have to have those iPads available or Android devices. You can just have someone there. So you would still have to share a scan only ticket. You would need, or I'm sorry, a self-validate only ticket. You would need to claim that and then forward that email on to the person you're going to do it. So you'd have to do it that way. You couldn't take a screenshot of it that way. But again,
Quite a bunch of hole in my thought.
as you guys know, our goal is to make this way easier than that. I mean, that's crazy that's the process. It just it was kind of something we need to work on, and we'll get it better. All right, moving on to football. And again, if there's more questions at the end, if you think of something while I'm talking, feel free and we can ask at the end. Football. So just a reminder that the sectional football tickets, so the rounds of sectionals are sold through your school, just like the years in the past. My understanding is that's going to switch when it gets to the regional round, but I don't know the exact process of that yet, but we'll communicate that when that happens. I'm assuming it's going to work like the other tournaments, but again, I don't want to say anything that's incorrect in this meeting. So I know for the sectional rounds, those are going to be sold through your school. Obviously, if it's a great time to make the switch to EventLink tickets. Hey, there's a plug for EventLink tickets. We have 260 or so IIAAA members utilizing our ticketing platform already. So it's obviously it's something that's pretty prevalent in the state. So that's all I'll say about that. All right, so Leanne also asked me to kind of hit on three new things or three newer highlights. I know Roman mentioned it as well. Some stuff that we've been working on over the last 4 or 5 months. So I want to start out with EventLink sites. It's a huge growing feature. Like this thing has really taken off. A lot of schools across the state have already switched to EventLink sites, which would be the public facing website, replacing the old VNN ad filled sites that's all I'll say about them. But the ad filled sites and things like that. And just to make things easier, since your events and everything are being scheduled in EventLink, everything just flows right onto your EventLink site. The setup's pretty darn simple. Managing's pretty easy. But one thing we did add recently, we have 2 different templates to pick from, but we did add scores to those sites, score reporting, which is being utilized by dozens, not hundreds, but we're working on it. But so basically what it does is when you go into EventLink and record your results for that event, it creates a ticker across the top, as you can see the Franklin Central and Mount Vernon examples. There you go, Leanne. The Mount Vernon examples of the scores that are going across the top, just like kind of we're not going to lie, we kind of looked at ESPN and thought, hey, that's where I go for scores. Why not we do that for schools and have those scores displayed on your school website? So enter in the results as you would. Entering results in EventLink is something that's been there since the beginning. It's just no one really used it a whole lot. And so we're still working on ways to make multiple events like invitationals and things like that, score reporting, a little bit better. Right now, the individual game or match it works. It's perfect. It works. It records your results for the season, tabulates them for the year, and all that. It's the 15 team invitational we're recording results where it's not great. And if you guys have ideas to help us out with that, we'd be more than happy to take your suggestions on how we could best report those large event scores. But as you can see there across the top of the screen, we have an API connection with My IIHSA. So the logo that you see displayed for each school is actually coming from your My IIHSA directory page. So if you see one there that you don't like, or it's an old one or something, you can either update it there or send it to us and we can get it taken care of for you. All right, EventLink fundraising. This is really new. This is something that we just launched about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's just another thing that we thought we could help out with and help you guys streamline. Our motto is one spot. So the goal is that where you don't have to go to another software company to run your online digital fundraising. Everything's tracked. There's a fundraising page. And quite honestly, I kind of gave it the kiss of death when we released it to my staff. And this is a look behind the curtains, but when we released this, I thought this is probably the most complete feature that we've ever released. Like, I think everything that you need to do your online fundraising is here. We put it through all of our testing, and have had some pretty cool fundraisers just in-house here to test this thing out. Again, you can include athletes, you can track athletes, you can have a goal for each athlete. You can use it don't have to use that piece of it at all. I think I've seen one already created for a turkey Thanksgiving dinner fundraiser that the community is doing. So it wasn't even attached to an athlete. It was just, hey, donate to help support the Thanksgiving dinner that we're holding. And it's a 90-10 split with the donations. That's something that in our research, the leading companies out there, they're 80-20 at best. And if you really put the clamps on them, you can get them to 83-17. But we're 90-10. Again, that's part of EventLink. Like that's the one spot advantage is we don't have to charge top dollar for all of our features. If you noticed, our ticketing fee is the lowest out there. If you've compared EventLink Pay to Arbiter Pay or Ref Pay anytime in the last year and a half, you notice our fee is about half of what they're charging now. So again, this is another area that we don't have to charge as much as those other companies because we have a whole bunch of different opportunities to make up that revenue. So, and here's just some examples of the screenshots. There's the fundraising page, and then over to the right, you'll see the campaign status. That's where you can track, or the coach can track all their players and to make sure if they've hit their goal and things like that. So, full reporting, everything that you're accustomed to with EventLink as well comes with EventLink fundraising. All right, and the last one, EventLink Studio. We launched this one at the end of the year last year, but it's a social media content creator. We are up to 70. When we launched it, we had 20 templates. We're up to 73 different templates now that you can pick from to design your social media content. I know there's lots of competition in this space, but again, this one doesn't cost anything. It's included in your full school, so it's not like you have to go buy it from some other company. And it has a lot more features than some of the free options out there as well. So 73 templates, game and match day, tickets, passes, score updates, starting lineups, and player spotlights are some of the ones we have now. We're currently designing some schedule ones, so the team could put up their yearly schedule and things like that. But just a quick highlight of what it is so if you look at the image on the screen now, that's one of our templates. When you select one of our templates, a form pops up. All you have to do is fill out the form, update the colors. We've done them all in EventLink green. We like our EventLink green, so we've done them all in EventLink green. So if Rob wants to change it to the Tigers colors, you could always select red and white. There's an eyedropper to get the exact colors. You're selecting your images to make sure they're updated. As soon as you fill out that little form, you can also, with the form, some of them have with the score updates, you can attach them to the events within EventLink, so it will fill in the event data for you. It will fill in the date, the teams, the opponents, and if a score has been reported in EventLink, it'll go ahead and post the score for you as well. So you just have to fill out the form. You don't have to be a designer, graphic designer to do this. Fill out the form, and then boom, it creates the image in the bottom to where you just you fill out a couple of fields, hit save and apply, and there it is. All right, so I've said one spot a couple of times. One spot came from many years ago, or not many years ago, but 6 years ago, doing some demonstrations with our competitors across the state. When I realized, hey, EventLink really is kind of one spot of what you guys do. Like, all the features that we offer are listed here. And just kind of, my question to you guys is, which ones are you using? Which ones? How can we help you? How can we help streamline your day? Roman mentioned efficiency, man. That is exactly what EventLink is for, to make your life more efficient. It may take you some hours, 4 hours to sit and learn a new feature one day, but that 4 hours spent is going to be repaid to you in time and efficiency down the road. Utilize our staff. Our staff is fantastic, and the success team is willing to do just about anything you guys need them to do to help you be successful using our product with in-person trainings, with sending out updated manuals. We have a whole new video library of manuals that we're getting ready to publish on each individual item within EventLink. and some other things that we're working on to help just increase knowledge and ease of use with our products. So we appreciate your use. We appreciate all the feedback. But again, all the things in the list here, that we just take a look at, or, what are you using for a messaging for your coaches? Are you putting your practices in EventLink? Why not? If your families are going to EventLink to see when the games are, why not have your practices entered? And that doesn't have to be something you do. For our full school folks, every coach can enter in their practices, and only the practices for their team. Facility requests. Obviously, most of you are using it to assign and pay officials, but just is it something that we can help out in another area? Scheduling workers, paying those workers. EventLink Stores is one of our growing features. It's our online spiritware shop that we actually print that stuff right here in Lafayette. We have a partner in Lafayette that prints it and ships it out. So anyone in the state of Indiana that orders anything, we can have that delivered to their door within a week from order. The EventLink mobile app, do you guys utilize the app a lot? Right now, the app is going, and this is another peek behind the curtain, the app's going through a whole rewrite. Within the next year, we'll have a whole different app out. And it's just some cool new features coming with that. Tickets and passes, we talk about that so much, but about that. EventLink advertising, that's a way to make a little bit of extra money on the tickets and passes. Something where you guys don't have to do anything. Just provide us with a name of a company you think might be interested in putting an ad on a ticket, and we'll take care of it from there. Kiosk, that's our point of sale system. If you guys aren't using that, it's great. It's been one of the easiest features to launch because of the reports we've gotten back, is just how easy it is to use. EventLink messaging, again, coaches sending messages to cancel games and practices, and the bus is going to be late on the way back to the event from an away game. A coach can send a message to all the parents. EventLink registrations, our number one growing feature from last year has been EventLink registrations. Summer camps, gosh, there's so many different uses you guys have come up with it for. I can't even name them all off, but EventLink sites, we just mentioned that, EventLink Studio and EventLink athletes. So a lot of different things we do. We're hoping to make your guys' life more efficient, and that's what we're looking to do. All right. I figured I would end with our contact info. I think y'all know how to get a hold of us, but just in case, there's our 866 number. Call us. That's the number one. I mean, someone's going to pick up the phone and talk to you. Email, there's help@eventlink.com and then tickets@eventlink.com. Either one of those will get you where you need to go. Chat, we have an online chat that's open 8 to 5 during our office hours, from 8 to 5 every day. That's a good, easy way. I know a lot of you guys use that, and it's a really good way to communicate without having to pick up the phone, or maybe you can't talk at the moment. And then our normal business hours are 8 to 5 Eastern, but as you mostly know, that we do have a team member on call every single night of the week, Monday through Friday from 5 to 9. So if there's something going on, an event, still send that email, still pick up the phone and call us. We're there to help. Don't feel like you're stuck. Don't feel like you're on an island, because there is someone who will get back to you within 20 minutes or half an hour tops. And any question that you have, and generally it's even quicker than that. I'm just saying 30 minutes to cover our butt, but generally it's right away. Someone will get right back to you. And then we do have someone on call Saturday morning starting at 8 a.m. So for those Saturday morning 10 a.m. events, our folks are here for you and available to help. So Leanne, that may be a world record time for me. Generally it runs over a little bit, but I tried to follow my 15 minute. I appreciate the 15 minutes, but I did want to open up any questions, anything that anyone has for me, for EventLink, for IIAAA ticketing, anything about you've got the director of EventLink on the line. What do you want to talk about?
Come on now, let's don't let him get off too easy.
Brandon, one thing I would say with the studio, and I think there has been, it's exciting. I was actually just telling someone today how I'm really excited how that's going to develop in the next, I said 2 to 3 years, but crap, it's like 2 to 3 months probably. But one of the things I did find when I was in there and creating some content, I found it difficult to like save and know where it's saving. I still don't know that I know that.
Sure. There's a couple, and depending on what you mean by save, there's a couple different things. There's either if you're building a template, because there's two different things. You can go to use our templates, and then you can save that just saves to a folder that you would have on your computer somewhere. It just creates the image for you to where you could go back and access that image from your social media accounts when you're ready to post them, or you can actually go in and take the template and customize it and save it within the school template, so you have that available. And what we can do, Rob, is we'll reach out and I'll show you how to do that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And then once you get that, Rob, if you will share that with the rest of us, maybe that's something we can put on our Sports U also. That would be great.
Yeah, definitely. I would be more than happy once I know I have a higher level of efficiency and efficacy with it, and I will make a video and then put it on Sports U.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Brent, I was going to say, we use almost everything. We haven't done the fundraising yet, and I haven't done the kiosk, so to speak. My difficulty still is in accepting credit cards at events. We don't have good Wi-Fi. We try to take a little Wi-Fi box out there, and it's just more of a pain than it isn't. Is there an update from that? Because ours are probably 3 years old. Is that our issue? Is it still just the Wi-Fi accessibility?
Well, yeah, it's a little bit. It's mainly the Wi-Fi accessibility. Okay. Even if you have one of the old original black credit card machines or credit card terminals, they continue to update. Those are about to be in the next year or so. Those will probably all be shuffled out and replaced. We'll probably work on getting those all replaced. But for the most part, it's Wi-Fi connection. We've been in communication with Stripe, our provider, or our processor, about ways to take payments offline. But again, that opens up the issue that I keep running into, is that opens up you guys to a little bit of risk, as if someone walks up with a Chipotle gift card and swipes that offline, it's going to say, okay, yeah, you're fine. Here's your ticket. Go to the event. But then when that device kicks back online, it's not going to go through, and you guys are going to be out that money. So it's kind of balancing that. There's also some other cool things coming to the industry that we're researching. Something like the tap to pay, to where you don't need the credit card terminals. So you can tap a credit card to the back of an iPhone or an Android device. Right now, the iPad would be the only one left out. So we're researching those to make it better, to where, you would still need a cell phone connection at that point to take that credit card payment, but we would eliminate the Bluetooth connection between the phone and the terminal. So there are things we're working on to make it better. When it boils right down to it, is the most secure is to have the credit card terminal and an internet connection to make sure that you can do it. In areas that you struggle, we've recommended hotspots, but Leanne, I know, as you said, it's a little bit of a pain. I can recommend that you push the online pre-sale, because then you don't have to take credit cards at your gate. You could have the pre-sale ticket, and then you can scan tickets via the app without having an internet connection. So if you're scanning, that's fine. Or if it's a self-validate ticket, then they can display that ticket on their phone, and they could use their cellular connection to validate the ticket right in front of the ticket taker. So there are other options, and we are looking to make things better, as always. But
thank you. Appreciate it.
Brandon, are there any schools that are absorbing the transaction fee?
For ticketing, off the top of my head, ticketing in Indiana, no. Several schools in Kentucky are doing it. It's semantics is what it is, Rob. So those schools are, you're putting the ticket cost in at $7.85 instead of $7. Right. You guys are still getting your $7, but it looks like on the purchase, it looks like there's no fee. At some point, there is legislation that's probably going to move us away from being able to even do that, because of some different fee legislation that's being discussed at the state and national level. So you're going to have to display those fees if there are fees involved. But right now that legislation doesn't exist, so you can still absorb that fee and not show a fee to the customer. It's we have a lot of schools will do it on registrations, and there are some that are doing it on kiosks, but not a lot in Indiana on tickets.
Yeah. One thing I would offer up with the registrations and the kiosks, two things, because Leanne was kind of pointing out some of the ways she's used it. So registrations, we have a fan bus that we're trying to go to Homestead this Friday. So I did fan bus registrations through EventLink. That was an easy way of doing that. And then the kiosk, the one way we've used that, we're not in charge of our own concessions, but the swim sectional t-shirts that the IHSA wants you to sell. I put those on the kiosk, and if someone wanted to buy them, they had to buy them with a credit card. If you don't have a credit card, then you're not getting a t-shirt. But that was super simple on our part, and a way of dipping our toes into, messing with the kiosk and with the and we've done registration. We did all camps this past summer, so it was excellent. We loved it.
I'm gonna give another plug for registrations because, like Rob, we do the camps, but we have a local booster club that has been created and run by a group of gentlemen who are alumni of Mount Vernon. They themselves do not like technology, but we have it pushed out that people can join M Club via the registration, but they also do things like they sell bricks that get engraved, and we have a Wildcat Plaza. And so that's how people go in and order and pay for their bricks, but they type it in. So we're not worried about different translation or misspelling something, because then the parents or the people buying the bricks are putting it in directly. That has been a huge benefit to us as well. So
that's fantastic. Like I said, with event link registrations, you guys are using it in ways that I mean, it's awesome. That's what we're here for, to help streamline those registrations and make it easier for your community and to make sure everything's spelled right. I didn't even think about that. Like, you're responsible for the way you put it in. That's great.
Yep.
Brandon, what's my development wish list item with the registration? Do you remember?
I don't off the top of my head, but what you got?
Student IDs.
Tagged. Student ID. Yeah.
So once we get student IDs tagged to that, we will sell all homecoming and prom tickets through EventLink, which is a large portion of money. That's a lot of money.
We've talked that won't. I think we're going to do that through tickets instead of registration, but stay tuned.
I can't wait.
They're also one of the things we are working on as well with tickets right now is we're working on assigned seating as well. So you'll be able to offer assigned seating events. So that's something that's coming very soon, that we've had requests for. It's funny as how sporting events have changed over the years. I mean, back in my days, I remember my parents sat in the same seats in our home gym for 15 years. And that just doesn't exist anymore. So, but there are schools that have requested for assigned seating events for plays and things like that. So that's on the way.
Northwood Panthers, are you still selling assigned seats there at Northwood?
We unfortunately did away with those and did not bring them back.
Oh.
Sacred cow got shot.
And your popularity rating went up or down on that?
Went through the roof, just through the roof.
He noticed he didn't say which roof that was. Through the doghouse roof, through the gym roof, right? Awesome. Okay, does anybody else
transition?
Anybody else have any questions, comments for Brandon before we let him off the hook? Okay. Well, Mr. Smith, sir, we greatly appreciate your time this morning. And we appreciate all that you guys do, and especially the fact that you're receptive to our suggestions, whether you like them or not. You guys at least make us feel like we're being heard, and we continue to see improvements, and it is greatly appreciated by those of us in the field who are using it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. We love working with you guys. And one more thing, I leave every presentation I give these days with the same thing. Just call us. That's it. Just reach out, call us. So
thank you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right. Okay. While we're making a transition here, and I did not pay attention, is Greg Hill on here with us this morning?
No, I don't remember seeing him check in.
Okay. I was going to give him the opportunity. I know we had a few new sponsors jump on board, so I was going to give him the opportunity to share those, but we'll let him do that potentially next month. Let's switch gears a little bit to talk about, if I can figure this out, give me just a second. I'm struggling multitasking here. Let's talk about our winter checklists. And I'm going to start that simply by saying, for those of you who haven't used it or haven't been on there for quite some time, we do have a SportsU account for IIAA. And if you log into SportsU, it's right here, IIAA members. Over here on this side in files, we have several examples of winter checklists. They're not the end all be all by any means. And so as we take a look at just a couple of these, any of you who have some suggestions, feel free to share those, please and thank you. So a couple years ago, I think when we were doing the COVID Zoom calls, Rob was talking about checklists and I shared one with him. And then of course he took mine and made it better. So this very top one right here, this coach checklist, if you click on that, and it might take a few minutes for this PDF to show up. And of course that's technology and that's what's going to happen. Rob, what are we doing here? Is your checklist shy?
Do I need to, I don't know that I checked mine, put mine in there. I can find it.
I think this first one is that. I thought it was, and it did pop up for me a while ago. I was practicing off to the side when Brandon was talking, but it doesn't want to do that now. Let me go this way.
On another note, I put in the chat the Sports U code so for the IIAA. So for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, it's capital letters and numbers. So it's WVHGNL9S. WVHGNL9S. And those again are all capitals. And that's the Sports U code for the IIAA membership.
Okay. And so I downloaded and uploaded. Can you see that?
Now I've got it. Yep, we can see it.
Okay.
Looks
So
very
is this
familiar.
one yours?
That is mine.
Okay, that's what I thought. So this is the one that Rob uses with his coaches at Fisher's. And the concept of a checklist is clearly just to make sure that you're ready. Update it. You can use these if you want an editable file. I know Rob or I, either one, will share that with you. But the bottom line is, what is it that you would walk yourself through if you were the coach going into the next season? And so we start off with, and mine is very similar in terms of, what are some things that we expect our coaches to do before they ever get started? And then we also add on there, so what are some things that you should have in your agendas for your call out meetings, for your parent meetings? And then Rob went so far as to put some like in-season best practices and then a post list. And his post list is way more expanded than mine is. Mine is much more simple, if you will, in terms of the format of it. I don't break it out into different things, but there are about 24 things that I do want my coaches to do as preseason. So when it allows, I meet with my coaches individually and we talk about all of these. When it doesn't allow, like last Friday, I brought them all in and we bounced ideas off of each other. But we always have some important reminders that are pretty bold. There are some things that we want to make sure that we don't end up self-reporting on. And then I break out the parent meeting checklist. I don't have a call out meeting checklist. I break out the parent meeting checklist into these are the things that you need to make sure that you cover. And clearly, if you have more things to cover, then go ahead, but make sure at a minimum that you're including these. And then again, I do some reminders, kind of Rob's best practices, but they allow us to stay informed and we're not surprising anyone. Especially that last one, transportation. I'm guessing that I'm not alone in having some issues with being able to have enough bus drivers. And then I believe Phil shared this one from Lebanon. Is that Phil? Are you on here?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. You want to talk about yours?
We just broke down the courses that are required within our school for volunteer coaches and paid coaches, using the Safe School website for some of our courses and the NFHS courses. So just kind of broke it up and put it in an Excel spreadsheet. Easy to hand out to your head coaches, easy to hand out your assistant coaches. They know where to go to take the courses.
Bill, with that document, and you just said the safe schools, does Lebanon allow you to, like Safe Schools for us, it can only be people with a Fisher's email or Southeastern Schools email. Do all of your coaches, is that the same with Lebanon, or do all of your coaches have a Lebanon email?
No, they will not. If our coach is not paid, they will not give them a school email. So we have to go through Safe Schools to set them up with their Gmail or whatever their email account is.
Okay.
And then of course, as you know, with the IIAAA, you have to go make sure you put their emails in, because the email they use for the course could have been different.
Right.
You know, Luke has instructions and stuff on that, on how to do that, because you want to add their second email. So it's going over with the IIAAA.
But it's not reading stuff from Safe Schools. You're
No.
you're manually putting those in, or you're
Correct. And I'm be honest with you, I'm behind a little bit on it. So I'm just like everybody else, get that little warning label at the top of your dashboard.
Yep.
Even though I know my coaches are good, I'm just prioritize, folks.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's why I still keep my coaches and all of their things in final forms, because I know when they're getting final form reminders, and that puts a little bit more of the responsibility back on them. But yes, I like this, Phil. I wouldn't have thought to add that. And I just made a note here. With our coaches, every year we sit down and they have their own emergency action plan. And I stole a template. And Dan, if you're still with us and it's something you can grab easily, I stole the template from the 502 that you had me teach last spring, because that emergency action plan is much cleaner than what we were putting together. And I just walked through the pool the other day. My coach has hers filled out. It's laminated and it's right where everybody can see it. So I would encourage, as part of your winter checklist, make sure that your coaches have their emergency action plan. Who are the numbers that they're calling? You know, if the bus is the issue, who are they calling? If they're calling me as the athletic director, I can help them with the alarms. Anything past that, they're probably going to have to call the bus garage. So I need to make sure that they have that person. You know, if it's a kid gets hurt. Well, if the trainer's not at that event, what are they supposed to do? And I tell them common sense is what you're supposed to do, right? If it were you, if you were out in the middle of nowhere, I don't know that this would be a good example, but if it's something that you needed to call an ambulance, then call an ambulance. It doesn't matter if the trainer's there or not. If it's not something that an ambulance needs to be called on, then call the parent and ask them what they want you to do. You know, that just some common sense things. But if we don't have those planned out as part of our checklists, then I feel like sometimes the adrenaline kicks in and maybe we forget some of those common sense items that anybody right now, if I posed a question to you, you would have an answer to it. And so if we get flustered sometimes, think about what our new coaches experience. So as much of those things as you can have for them on a checklist, probably the better. Now, what I didn't put on my checklist and what I didn't share were some facility type checklists. So for those of you getting ready to switch from outside to inside, what are some things in your facilities that you're walking through and you're checking right now? Should be some big items on our checklist, right? We're getting ready to go indoor to use the gym. Give me 3 things we need to be checking in the gym, like right now or yesterday. Anybody want to play? Really no wrong answer. Come on, Rob, throw something out here for us. What should we be checking in the gym?
Better check your scoreboards and your sound system.
Yep, those are big too, right? Better check scoreboards and sound systems. What else are we checking?
Check your baskets, make sure they're all right. All your baskets.
Baskets need to be all right. Nets need to be in good shape.
Right.
Rumor has it your floor needs to be done, and maybe your goals need to be the right height too. I mean, I'm not speaking from experience there. I'm just saying. Rob, what were you going to say?
Check with your jazz band and find out what events they plan to attend and do not plan to attend.
Yep. Good one. What else? Bruce, you going to share some wisdom with us?
Check your bleachers. Check your bleachers.
Yes. Better check that. Kathy?
I was going to say AED machine and lights in the gym.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What about your indoor restrooms? If they're closed off all fall and they're not open except for your indoor events in the winter, anybody checking those? Or are we just kind of hoping? Right. So those are things we need to check with our custodians as well, especially when you have turnover. Kind of like bus drivers, custodians are hard to get. So maybe we need to be checking. Do we have a new custodian down in that area? What do we need to be communicating with them about as well? What else?
Officials room if you don't use it for anything else.
Right?
Has it been cleaned lately?
You maybe could have taken lately off of there, Dan, but okay, we'll go with cleaned lately.
For us at Fishers, our facilities are in such great demand. We have to really compare, like on game nights, what other events are happening in our school. You know, we might have a big double, like a boy-girl double header, and it's also the play night, and it's also both gyms are, you know, both Ox gyms are chock full of youth athletics as well. So we need to maybe move some of those things out or plan a little bit, but that, you know, now's the time to check on that as opposed to like the day before.
Yeah, but that's where for us, EventLink has the full scale version has been really good because our coaches do put in all of their practices. They do include the facilities, but even the guys who are in charge of the play or in charge of a choral concert or in charge of a band performance, they're also putting in facilities. So we're getting updates, we're getting reminders and checking that master calendar. While it gets very convoluted, boy, that saved our tail more than once. Anything else on those winter checklists? Roman, what are we leaving off?
Something small for us. If you guys are having success in the fall and you highlight your different teams in the gymnasium, get those championship years up on the banner so you don't have to hear about it at a basketball game.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you get a chance to present them to your crowd, them as being the team, that's a good community
Is it
PR piece.
Black Crush, is that what it is?
Black Crunch. Come on. Rob?
All right. Anybody else who's been doing this for a while or anybody
Make sure
relatively
you got
new
to
think of something? Yes,
make
Phil,
sure
go
you
ahead.
got a hot water in your showers. I learned that the hard way past Friday night at sectional football. Had to flip my officials room because we had a breakdown in our water heater.
So if you like the officiating crew, you better make sure they have some hot water. No, that's good because I make sure our officials room is clean, but I don't check the shower. So that's good, Phil.
Okay. You know, one important thing with this is that all these checklist items, what it allows you to do is really to be on top of things for when the wild card shows up, because that's going to happen, right? Like, and if we're worrying about things that we could have checked, you know, ahead of time, then that's the problem. But we're never going to be able to be 100% prepared for the wild card that causes us to react on our feet. And that's actually what, you know, those are some of the most challenging times for us. But some also when you can get through them and successfully, you can be like, it's a big pat on the back that you handle some of those crazy things that happen to you. So.
And some of these things on these checklists are things that our head coaches need to be aware of and they need to check because they're in those facilities all the time. I will say that I do believe on the IIHSA, myihsa.net, under the resources, there is an AD checklist. And if you haven't taken a look at that lately, wouldn't hurt to pull that up because it has more of the facilities type checklist things that people are throwing out here that like I don't put on my checklist for my coaches. But those are there in case you need to just take a look, just see if there's something on there. You're like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Or, yep, I'm doing all of those. And then, you know, you're good. Okay. Anything else on? Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, with the checklist that you showed of mine earlier, like I had a parent meeting last night for cheerleading, and it's such a useful tool for me because like it saves me time, right? I created it once and I don't have to prepare for that meeting. I just need to kind of look at like one or two dates that I share in that agenda, but then I can roll right into that meeting, make sure I'm first in the agenda, talk about what I need to on that document that I have, and then I can roll back out and go do what else I want to do the rest of the evening. So it saved me a ton of time. And so, you know, it's a great tool for me as well. It's not just something that my coaches have value in. It helps me make sure that I don't have to constantly be reinventing, like, what do I need to talk about at this meeting?
Piggybacks off of Brandon's comment earlier. It might take a little bit of time up front, but the time spent up front, you earn back a whole lot more on the back end of it. So,
and to be honest with you, there's been instances here where my principal has had, you know, maybe dealing with a parent that's, you know, that's gone beyond, surpassed us and said, was this talked about in the parent meeting? And if you have that, hey, here's my agenda of what I already talked about, then it does help as well. So
Good points. Okay, anyone else? All right. Very quickly, before I turn it over to Rob for some final thoughts, and Dan wants to talk about 504, does anybody have a good must read? Whether it's for your coaches or whether it's for an AD, is there a book out there, or is there a podcast? Is there something that is a must? Anybody come across something really good here recently that is worth sharing with our group? I know we have a hard time finding time to read, right? So that's, please, if you would, if you come across something, and I think there was something on Sports U the other day from John Gordon that one of our colleagues shared, and that was good. But if you come across something, post it in there, if you would, share it out with the group so that when we do have a little bit of time, there are things that we can reference and continue to build and grow ourselves professionally. Mr. Armstrong, sir, you want to talk about 504?
Yeah, just real quick, deadline's coming for the fall class 504 that we're holding at Fishers on November 11th from 12 to 4. We have a max class of 25 for that class, and we have 12 in there currently. So I know we got a small group on here today, but if you guys can spread the word, if you know of any new ADs in your area, spread that word to get that to them. That's an opportunity for them to take LTC 504 and get that requirement off their books, and then get them started on the professional development. Ryan Harrington and I are going to teach that class. And so get on AMP. If you can just direct them to AMP, or one of you, if you want to take it, it's on AMP, and we'll be open till the 31st through midnight on the 31st, and then it'll be closed down so we can get all the stuff to the IIAAA.
Okay, Dan, real quick, you said November 11th?
November 11th is the class from 12 to 4 at Fishers High School. Rob's opening up his school for us, so we can do a fall 504. We got a nice class right now with 12, but we'd love to have a full class of 25.
All right, and this is Rob's audition to take Emily's spot. So Emily's going to come out swinging.
Not worried about Steinmetz.
All right.
Perfect.
Yep, go ahead, Rob. Let's turn it over to you for a wrap up.
Yep. Actually, I'm going to take just a few minutes because I have come across something that, that has just saved me an unbelievable amount of time recently, and I don't want to miss the opportunity of sharing it. I'm going to share my screen real quick here. If I can find what I'm looking for, let me go back up here and get on the right screen. And how many of you have messed with AI? Anyone on here? Was that just Roman's hand? I saw Roman's hand up. Anybody else? Nope. All right. So what I've got here, can everybody see my screen? This is ChatGPT. It is, I pay for a version, but it also, there's a free version. And right now I'm not seeing a ton more value unless you want to get into creating graphics with it. But if you go to the iPhone, your app store, and download ChatGPT, and then you can also on the computer, it's actually, I think, maybe a little more limiting, but on the phone, it's perfect. And so here's a perfect example of like this. What I have up here on the screen was my prompt that I created. Let me get myself out of the way here. You'll get better at creating these prompts. Okay. And the prompt for this one here was addressing an angry parent, concerns regarding a cheerleader, type thing. And you just hit enter and bam, it will just give you great talking points. And this was just talking points, but you can just create almost anything you want in here. And it's a great way to start an email, a difficult conversation. It just gives you a game plan. Like, so I've actually found that almost anything that I'm wanting to do, send an email or send a reference letter or have any plan a vacation to Hawaii. I mean, like everything, you go in here and it just punches stuff up. Anybody dealing with something right now that you have, that's on your to-do list, like you have to call someone or send an email. Anybody got something? Because I'll put this prompt in here. If not, I'll create one.
Hey, Rob, put one in there for when you have two head coaches that don't get along.
All right. How to handle conflict
Completely hypothetical.
between two head. Can you guys see what I'm doing?
Yes.
Is between two head coaches and you get better with your prompts as you do this in your high school. Okay. So now I'm going to say, actually here, I'm going to put talking points. On how to handle. Okay. Boom. And here it is. Now, that may be, again, it gives you ideas of where to start, right? That's the most important thing, is it gives you ideas on where to start. Now, if I come up here and I'm going to do another, you can come in here and say, write an email. And it will, now my original prompt might not be perfectly off this, but let's see here. Maybe if I go down. Sometimes if you're building off of a prompt that was a little bit wonky, let me go up here. It's Jim, I use the same kind of idea, right? An email to two head coaches about being less conflictive with one another and sharing gym space. Here's your email. Is that now, again, like I said, what I've found, there's sometimes I have to change very little. Sometimes I have to go in and just completely do a new prompt. But here's what's amazing with this is you will learn, make this more severe. Let's see, more severe tone. Come on, fingers. Don't make me look silly if it's not working right. Let's see here. My Zoom keeps getting in my way. Let's see here. There we go. See how it says, I write to you today with a matter that demands immediate attention and resolution. So it changes the tone of your original message. You can also just come down here and put simplify. And it will simplify the message. So you just get, as you use it, you'll get more. See how much, see now it's a much smaller email. So I would just encourage you to download the app onto your phone. And just to start just being, just be curious with it. You can go in here, for example, here's last night, a Hawaiian excursion plan, right? Day 1, day 4, all that. And I mean, you can use this for anything. It makes you look like you know what the heck you're doing, or gives you an idea, right? But again, so my coaches last week were basketball cheer tryouts. And I basically said, hey, let's send a letter as opposed to just putting numbers on the online. And so we wrote I said, here, I'm going to write a letter in ChatGPT real fast for you. And it's going to be like, you didn't make it, you made JV, you made varsity. I did 3 quick letters, shared it with the coaches. And I told them, I said, hey, this was straight from ChatGPT. Change what you need to change. This is something you can do, but let's do it this way as opposed to putting numbers online. So again, I highly recommend doing this. Another thing that that's really amazing that I learned from one of our assistant principals that uses this a lot is if you do it on your phone, and like when you create this prompt, if I can come over here at the top of it, like on your phone, like here you can just copy, right? That's a copy. It'll copy the prompt. On your phone, if you hard press and copy, and then on my Mac, I have a Word document open. I hit Control V, it comes straight from my phone to my computer. I never knew that. Anybody else know that? Roman probably knew that. Did I stump you, Roman?
No, I was aware of that, Rob.
Oh. All right.
Hey, Rob, Can
Go
you,
ahead.
Rob, can you repeat that? Can you repeat what you just said? Because I use this all the time.
Yep. So when you're in Chat GPT and you have the response made, right? Hard press it and copy on your phone, and on your Mac, when you're in the Word document or you're in an email, Control V, it'll paste it right from your phone to your computer. There you go. So I'm 1-0 with Steinmetz. I'm 0-1 with Roman. So anyway, we're going to one of the things in the spring is I want to have a workshop session on AI, and because again, it does offer an unbelievable resource for us. It gives you, you could go in here. I mean, like going back with some of the topics we talked about earlier. Watch this here. Write an emergency action plan for my natatorium. And it will give you everything. Again, maybe not everything's being built there, still building. But anyway, anybody have any questions on it? Yeah. Any other prompts somebody wants me to put in? Be like, hey, wait a minute, I've got something I need to have a solution for. Steinmetz, what do you use it for?
Any and every message I send to parents, I start with this and then make sure I hit those points in my message. So like when we had a coach resign mid-season, I put that in there. It gave me pretty much what to say. I changed a few things, sent it out. It's great for press releases if you do those, or emails to your township. This is what happened last week. Kind of just, it gives you a good outline is what I usually use it for more than anything.
Yep. I've actually put in there just to see how I could get my coaches using it, like a game recap, right? Fisher's football defeats Westfield, 14-7, and you give a few, facts to the game and say, write a game recap. Boom, done. They could then copy and paste that, put on the website. So again, this is, one of the things that we've found here. I'm on an AI committee here at Fisher's. And, we've got a lot of people that have that paradigm in their mind that AI is cheating. And that's what we're trying to actually get our teachers past that thought process, because again, it's what it does is it's a great resource for you. Like I said, very seldom do I take a response from Chat GPT and make it and then just send it out 100%. Usually I'm adding flavor to it, changing it around. Sometimes in my prompt, there's times my prompt has been 2/3 of the length of the actual response. But you just get better at doing those prompts, and it just saves you time, so that's one nice thing about it. I don't know if you probably noticed on mine where it would say Mr. Seymour or whatever. That's because I do the paid version. We do the paid version. You get to put in some of your credentials and things. And again, like right now, why I'm doing the paid version, I should have showed you that, but you can go in there and create a game graphic using Canva, and it will, as a plugin, create you like 6 different game graphics that then you can launch in Canva and edit. It's right now not worth the money because it's $20 a month. So I'm playing in this sandbox right now, but probably going to jump out of it quickly unless I can learn how to do multiples of those, at once. So if anybody has any questions, I'd answer them now. If not, you can feel free to, after this marinates for a little while and you mess around with it, feel free to give me a call. Any questions? Bruce, you can write all of your holiday letters to your grandkids using Chat GPT.
All right. Thanks, Rob, because I clearly wouldn't have thought to do that, but it does also provide you some consistency along with saving some time. So that's not a bad tool to put in our toolboxes.
Yep.
All
Final
right.
thing.
Yep.
Final thing. I've got, I'm, trying to put some finalization to some of the stuff for this spring conference. if you have an idea, of a workshop, or you have an idea, or if you have the interest of helping out with a workshop, I kind of have an idea, a skeleton outline of what I'm looking for. But if you have an interest, let me know, because I have some ideas of some panel discussions in the sessions and the topics with that. And so if you're interested, let me know, and I will see if we can get you plugged in. We'll get you plugged in some way, no matter what, but let me know. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Rob. And again, thank you everybody for joining. I know we've gone over a little bit this morning, but I can at least say this old dog learned a new trick today as well. Anybody have anything for the good of the order before we sign off today? All right. Well, thank you all very much for joining again. I appreciate it. It's good to see all of your faces, and take care. Good luck to those who are still competing, and good luck to those who are starting up the next season.